So hi, my name is Elena. I was yelling. Sorry. My name is Elena Hasso. I work with Gay City, which is the LGBTQ center here in Seattle, Washington. I'm a phlebotomist as well as a front desk person here at the organization. And today our presentation is going to be I Matter, Representation in Health Services. And what we're really going to talk about today is why representation matters, go over a little bit about what Gay City is, what we do, who we serve, and then maybe a little bit of sexual health education and risk reduction factors. So a little bit about who I am. My name is Elena Hasso, as I said. I'm originally from the South, Tennessee. I'm a trans woman of color. My father is Mexican, so that makes me Mexican. Born and raised in Mexico City. My mother is Afro-Puerto Rican, so raised in Nuevo Laredo, Texas, born in Chicago. I'm a student studying to be a librarian. I'm also a sexual health educator and a community member. So when I say who is Elena and I point out these identities, it's just I want to make it very clear that these are not all my identities, but when you're looking for representation within medical services or anywhere, that these are the ones that are most prevalent and that are the most seen to people. So Chief is our moderator. He will be looking at everything in the chat. So if you have any questions throughout this whole presentation, feel free to write them out in the chat. Chief will let me know and we'll talk about it. I should have said this in the beginning, some community standards for the group, that please be mindful of other people, ask questions, but be mindful of other people who may ask questions too. Don't over talk the presentation. But since we know about my identities, these are Chief's identities, and it's important to look at other people's identities because everyone in the community is not the same. Not one person in our very big, diverse community has the same identities. So I'm going to let Chief go ahead and talk about his identities because Chief knows Chief better than anyone.
How's everyone doing? My name is Chief O'Dude, and my pronouns are he, him. I am the clinic manager here at Gay City, which is located on Capitol Hill, and I've been a part of the organization for about 10 years. I am a queer father to a beautiful 10-year-old girl who just brings me so much happiness. I love her to pieces. My mother, I'm originally from Hawaii, but my mother is Samoan and my dad is African American, Black, and Indian. I am a sexual health educator and I believe in sex positivity, and I'm very proud and passionate about providing health services to our community. That's a little bit about me. Back to you, Elena.
Chief is also my boss, so he is also the clinic manager here at Gay City and oversees everything that we all do and gets on to us about our mistakes. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Gay City is, who we are, who do we serve, how you can help, and what we do. So we predominantly like to serve BIPOC and BIPOC individuals, especially in the queer communities, as those named Gay City. And that means trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, MSM, and two-spirited individuals. And then later on, we'll talk about how you guys can get involved and then what we do. So the next slide is going to be a short video. It's 3 minutes long about like the evolution of Gay City. And keep in mind, I'm talking about all this representation and they are cis gay white men who are going to be explaining this. But at the end, I want you to be mindful that it does show the progression of where Gay City has moved to and how we have moved from focusing on MSM communities and men who have sex with men and focus more on a diverse group. So we are celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. So we're going to watch this video and then we'll continue.
This is our 25th anniversary. And so this year is an interesting time, not just because of COVID, but also it's a time that we're really reflecting on our history and where we came from as an organization and kind of what the needs are moving forward.
Founded Gay City Health Project in 1995 with a small group of other AIDS activists. At that time, hundreds and hundreds of gay men in Seattle were dying every year of AIDS. Hundreds and hundreds of new folks were getting infected with HIV every year, and it was this, frankly, kind of insane situation that there seemed to be no end in sight to. And we thought we just needed to try some bold new things to try to turn things around. I think we realized we were onto something at that very first forum when we expected 100 people and we had 3 times as many people show up. And at all those subsequent forums where we had to turn people away because we couldn't find venues big enough on Capitol Hill to host them. So we knew that we had to take that energy and focus it in a way that was going to further those goals. And then we started getting calls from organizations all over the country and eventually all over the world who had heard about what we were doing and knew that we had stumbled upon something that was new and was innovative, and they wanted to replicate it. If you don't really feel great about yourself, you're much less likely to want to take care of your health. If you don't feel connected to sort of your gay brothers and a larger community.
And I do think it's an interesting time to kind of go back to that initial drive for Gay City to really show up for community and, build a community that at the time was really focused on HIV, like So Stronger Than HIV, but now it's much broader than that. And, how do we really build people up? And how do we create opportunity for people to be self-determined, to be liberated, to experience joy? And our role, I think, is really about getting the barriers out of the way. So how do we address both the structural barriers and the other barriers that people, that stand in the way of people being able to make choices for themselves, to feel liberated, to feel joy, to experience joy, and health.
Yay, 25 years with Gay City. Just kidding, I've not been there that long. So now we're gonna talk about who we serve and who we try to cater to at Gay City. So here at Gay City, I'm very passionate about who we serve or who we try to serve and cater into the community because I'm part of that community. And if any of you have questions about what these identities mean, please feel free to ask me, but I'm going to go over a little small definition of what these are. And then if anyone has any questions, you can also put them in the chat and Chief will notify me. So we serve, when we're talking about these identities, we are talking about BIPOC individuals, people of color, Black, Indigenous people of color, because those are the ones that are most marginalized in today's communities. So we're focusing on trans persons who are trans feminine, trans masculine, trans women, trans men, NB, which is non-binary, people who live outside the binary, who are neither men or male nor female, two-spirit individuals, and with this definition varies from different cultures to cultures. So I'm just going to read you off a definition that one of my two-spirited friends told best said that would probably help. Two-spirit is a contemporary term used to describe Indigenous people who assume cross or multiple gender roles, attributes, dress, and attitudes for personal, spiritual, cultural, ceremonial, or social reasons. These roles are defined by each cultural group and can be fluid over a person's lifetime. So one Indigenous culture's term for two-spirit could be very much different from another Indigenous culture's term of two-spirit. We also serve the MSM community, which is men who have sex with men, and the gender nonconforming community, which is people who may identify as cis, and cisgender meaning they identify as the sex they were assigned at birth, but just don't live in society's norms of how they express their gender. So it could be like wearing makeup or wearing a dress or not wearing it. It's basically very fluid and no rules. So when I want to ask you a question, and maybe you don't have to answer, and maybe if you want to, you can put it in the chat. when you go to health services, do you feel seen in health services is very important as an aspect of, I've never been to a doctor where I've seen someone, a trans woman of color, be my doctor. I don't think I've ever been to a doctor who's been a person of color. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the reality sometimes, especially when you live in small town America. Uh, and how does that make you feel if you're thinking about this question? For me, it made me feel a little unsafe. Safety is very important, and my safety is not your safety, and your safety is not my safety. But these are things to think about of why it's important and why it's important for you to be seen in community, and why, as for me, not being able to see my representation is very disheartening, because then it also makes me feel like I'm not allowed to be in that space. Like I'm not allowed to be a doctor, or I'm not allowed to be a nurse. And that's why, again, representation is very important. So jobs in healthcare, do you need a degree? So I don't have a degree in any health services, and I know Chief does not have a degree, but the way that we came into healthcare is very much different than other ways people have come in. We didn't go to school, we did classes and we did training, but me and Chief both came from food and beverage. So I was a bartender before I worked at Gay City. And I came on to work at Gay City in December. And it goes to show you that when I applied for this job, I just took a chance on myself. I was like, I've been wanting to get out of the food and beverage service industry for a really long time, but really was like, I'm never going to be able to get out of this, as this just continuing cycle of good money, hate the people, good money, hate the people. And so I just took a chance on myself and I applied. And after 3 long, grueling interviews, I finally got this job. And it goes to show that if you are willing to take a chance on yourself, other people are willing to take a chance on you and to train you, because really there are so many jobs, even here at Gay City, where you don't need a degree and you can still make really good money and still be part of helping a thriving community continue to thrive and be part of healthcare. So a little bit about what I do here at Gay City. I'm a phlebotomist. And what is phlebotomy? Phlebotomy is basically drawing blood from people to have tests done through a laboratory. So when you go to a hospital and you have someone come in to draw your blood, that person is performing phlebotomy, which is putting a needle into your arm and drawing blood. So, but also with phlebotomy, what I do is I do testing for STIs, such as gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis. And for gonorrhea and chlamydia, they look at swab testing. So when I'm saying swab testing, we'll do a swab for the throat, the front hole, if that pertains to a person, the back hole, and then a urinalysis. And all of those will test for gonorrhea and chlamydia. And then an intravenous blood draw will test for the HIV antigens and syphilis. And I say antigens because we also do an HIV rapid test, which tests for HIV antibodies. And the antibodies are what is fighting off the virus in your body. And that'll give us an idea of where your body is. It's also very important to know about window period. So with a blood draw, as it's a more accurate test, it takes longer to get the results. And with the rapid, it's almost instantaneous results, but also the rapid is testing for 3 months ago. So if we were to come in for a test right now, we would look at probably January 28th and everything before that if you got a rapid test, as opposed to 3 weeks with the blood draw. And what does sexual education look like? So as being part of a phlebotomist and working with the LGBTQ Center here at Gay City, we also try to encourage risk reduction techniques as part of safer sex, not safe sex, but safer. And with that, it could look like a lot of different things depending on what you are comfortable with and who you are as a person. So it could look as condoms, like heavy petting, not having intercourse. It could be being on PrEP. And if you have any questions about PrEP or what PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is a 1 pill that you take daily, and it prevents your body from acquiring the HIV virus. But with all that, risk reductions are different for every person. For me, for example, risk reduction includes using condoms and taking PrEP. And that's my risk reduction, but my risk reduction is probably not Chief's risk reduction. So if you have any questions on that, we could ask questions after. I think the next part is the question. I think we're about to come up on our time shortly. So I'm going to open it up for questions if anyone has any questions as my curtain pulls back. Questions. Does anyone have any questions about what I do here at Gay City, safer sex practices, how I got into, or how me or Chief got into healthcare without a degree? No? No questions? Thanks. No, just kidding. Are there? Oh, there's some in the chat. Yeah, you're so welcome, Lauren. Thank you for being part of the group. I'm glad that I hope that it was informative and people understand that you don't need to be a doctor. You can be a phlebotomist or work in the medical records or any part. Like, we have so many different jobs here at Gay City that technically are in the medical field. So prep advisors, healthcare navigators who don't really do any phlebotomy, they just help people get on healthcare. The list goes on and on what you can do within an organization and still be part of. That's a great question. If you are straight, you still can work here. So I didn't really go over volunteering, but that's a great thing that you brought that up. We'll talk about volunteering and how you guys can get involved with Gay City. So we have a volunteer program, and there's applications for volunteering. And what that does is, what that looks like is like taking in clients, working in our library, feeling like helping people coming in and just helping paid clients come in and get checked in and stuff like that. And what's great about volunteering is that it puts your foot in the door. And later on, when a job post comes in, and you've been volunteering for like a year and a half, and you were like, I would like this job, guess what? You're already going to have the upper hand on all the other applicants because you've been here. We'll know you. We'll be like, they're a good worker. They're a hard worker. They're very dedicated. So no, you don't have to be straight to work here, but just understand that if you are straight and want to work here, that we do cater to the queer community, that those are the people that come first in our organization. But without our volunteers, we really wouldn't be a great organization. And we love our volunteers here. Right now, though, because of COVID, we aren't taking volunteers, but as Washington opens up and more people are getting vaccinated, we're hoping to have that hopefully by midsummer, end of summer, to have our volunteers come back.
Hi, Elena, 5-minute notice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think there's one more question. How did you or Chief come across or find out about Gay City? Do you want to answer this, Chief, of how you found out about Gay City?
Yeah, sure. So it was like many years ago. I actually I lived on Capitol Hill and I would walk by it constantly. And so one day I decided to just I walked in and tried getting a volunteer position here. And at that point, it's like I was able to learn a little bit more about what Gay City represents. And so it took a little time for the volunteer coordinator to get back to me, but once he did, I was offered a front desk reception position that I ended up working for a few years. And it really, at the time, it filled this void in me because I came out previously about like 2 years before and was beginning to feel a bit of a disconnect. And so being a part of the organization really just made me feel whole. And it allowed me to really just kind of share space with people who were similar to myself. And so to answer your question, that's kind of how it came about. I just was in the neighborhood and just inquired about Gay City, looked into it.
You were in the neighborhood, honey.
I was. But, also too, just to kind of elaborate a little bit more, I never thought that I would find myself particularly in the medical field. But through Gay City, both Elena and myself were able to kind of create or walk down a different pathway into healthcare. And so I think our organization is trying our best to kind of break down some of the barriers to make access into the medical field more accessible to our community members at large.
Yeah, because we want to build a community that's not just surviving, but thriving. And that's my favorite thing. Like, we want to build a community. Before, Gay City's motto was build a community stronger than HIV. And I just wanted to, and I think now that we're just trying to build a community stronger than it was before. So, like, thank you guys for all the questions. But I hopefully will see you as volunteers, and trust me, it's a great place to work. It's fun. You get to wear whatever you want. Yes, we don't have a dress code. so, so.
Yeah, thank you all. I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, but thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak with you. Best of luck with school. Take care.
Yep. Thank you guys. Best of luck with school.